Miami, 5 years ago. I was on the trail of a serial killer known as Blowtorch. I was used to dealing with dangerous people, but this one was especially vicious. Unfortunately for him, already on his tail was the one, the only, the inimitable Lazarus Bundy! That time, things ended badly. Bruises, humiliation, badge handed in. It looked like the end for Lazarus Bundy, but instead...
Catherine Malsberg must be found, and her kidnappers brought to justice. Look for my symbol.
Had I really just been lured in and challenged by a lunatic dressed as a plague doctor? And yet, things were only about to get even more complicated.
The house of famous tycoon Eric Malsberg, where an attempted break-in was reported last night. We await confirmation on the origin of the liquid, with hopes that it isn't the blood of young Catherine Malsberg.
There it was, my shot at redemption. I would investigate off the books. I would find the missing heiress, Catherine Malsberg, and clear my name. But I needed help.
Alice. Alice Sharp, sir.
I'd never had an assistant before, but Alice knew her stuff. Together we discovered that Catherine had been pregnant at the time of her kidnapping. She seemed to be involved with a strange society called the Rosa Defecta, led by a man named Radwed. It turned out to be a tough case to crack, but in the end, I found the missing girl and her baby, Eric. But Radwed was ready for my arrival, and more importantly, he seemed to possess strange powers. He escaped into the darkness of the Everglades together with the newborn. I had failed again, and in my frustration I took my anger out on Alice. I'm dying of cancer! But I had underestimated that girl. Instead of giving in to despair, she rolled up her sleeves and followed a new lead that might finally bring us back to Radwed.
We're going to Italy.
That story seemed rooted in esotericism and alchemy. In particular, it led us to the infamous Count Cagliostro and the sunlit hills of Emilia-Romagna, where the alchemist had met his end. With the help of an ambitious bartender and a rather aggressive explorer, we uncovered the place where the Count had hidden an ancient relic. But the Rosa Defecta was waiting for me. Meanwhile, Alice had gone to see a cultural anthropologist specializing in the occult who lived in Rome. Lamberto Visconti, despite the illness ravaging him, still managed to point Alice in the right direction.
The Hand of Glory is an alchemical artifact composed of the dried hand of a hanged man kept in brine. The hand was a tool used in necromancy, to speak to the dead or obtain control of the spirits.
As I climbed out of Cagliostro's tomb, I barely had time to thank Providence for my miraculous rescue before I found myself facing a surprise. So, the doctor was a member of the Rosicrucians, a historic set I thought had vanished long ago. Apparently, the Rosa Defecta had formed after an internal schism that drove the two groups into a clandestine war against one another. The doctor had plans for me, and he made sure I couldn't say no.
I can cure you.
It was time to put an end to that story. Alice, the doctor, and I reached the place where Radwed had taken refuge, an ancient mausoleum in England. At last, we deciphered his plan, to forge a hand of glory and use it to transfer his corrupted soul into Eric's body, his own son, beginning a process that would effectively make him immortal. The final confrontation was brutal, with casualties on both sides. In the end, Radwed was defeated, but the price was steep. The child was taken by someone, and I had to disappear.